Welcome to Two Sisters Podcast with your hosts, Kristy and Melissa, who are real sisters bringing you real talk about life and faith through humor, insight, and community. Now, let's get into this week's episode.
What's up, guys? It's Melissa
and Kristy,
and welcome to Two Sisters Podcast. So this coaching session, we're talking about we're still in a series of being Black in America, but this particular episode is
being a Black
emphasizing
woman in corporate America.
Corporate America. And we both have had the privilege of being in corporate America. So I will speak about, I'm going to start off on my point of view. You mind, Kristy?
Go for it.
All right. So in these corporate streets out here, being Black, and one of the things that's amazing to me is that there's literally like a law that have to be passed for things like Black women's hair, like the literal hair that grow out of our scalp, have to have a law in order for us to wear it in our natural state. And I'm honestly glad because, I actually started being in a corporate America years ago. And at the time, I didn't have natural hair. I had relaxed hair. So, really wasn't a big deal on that aspect of it. But to be a Black woman in America these days, I mean, I know that being natural is more accepted and more people are doing it, but it's still an issue because I do recognize and realize for some reason hair is a big deal. It feels like it's connected to women esteem. I noticed that when women, and I even now work around women who are losing their hair, rather, like especially people who've had COVID, they lose their hair. People who are menopausal, they lose their hair, and even like postpartum. I had no idea women who are in postpartum lose their hair, and hair is a big deal for some reason. And I think that's tied to it. And also, like I said, being in corporate America, things like locks and braids and natural, especially like the textural 4C, like that, like if we wear our hair in its natural afro state, it's like not considered corporate or professional. That's one thing. And the next thing, being a woman, period, we're most of the time not paid the same as male counterparts for the exact same job. And I know it's like this ongoing debate literally between men and women about how, men saying that we complain that we want to be equal, we want to, just we want to be equal, we can do the same things, but then we cry about certain things because we're women. I'm not talking about our physical differences. I'm talking about the fact that if you have the same title as me and we're doing the same job, then I should get the same pay, period. And I'm still confused as to why there's a difference in pay. So that's another thing. And then the other thing that was a little bit, that I saw when I was in corporate America is like it is a double standard, and it's a double standard in a few things. So they've gotten really heavy on, the sexual harassment thing. Like, I feel like women get, and we actually have an episode about being bullied, but I feel like sometimes there are bullies on our jobs, and it comes in the form of being the boss, manager, director, supervisor, or anything else that title is higher than the female, and they use their authority to manipulate the woman or hit on her.
Manipulate or intimidate.
Yeah, manipulate her or intimidate her to do the things that they want done, or that she allowed them to have their way with her because of it, because she wants to progress. And then the other thing is that women get a bad rep sometimes because they sleep or so-called sleep their way to the top. So yeah, that's kind of like in corporate America to get basically.
I understand what you're saying, but like, you just gonna leave it there?
Well, I'm just telling you all my points, all the things that I saw are, that I saw when I was in corporate America. I'm gonna give you the points that I want to touch base on, or just give you the reasons why we're talking about this, because, and this
right,
was
the stereotypes.
like the different things, like I said, hair, pay,
and then the last couple of ones was just being a woman, period.
Being a woman, just like just the things we have to actually face or go through. And here's my point in tying this in, guys. And I know like the ones that have been following me know how, like, kind of know where I'm about to go with this. It's like I've been touching on the base of being accountable for yourself. And I understand that we all have a desire to progress and be promoted, and oh yeah, I forgot one, because I've been called this plenty of times. If I am ambitious or determined to grow, or and I am an avid learner. Like, I love to learn and I love to do things that sometimes is outside of my so-called quote unquote wheelhouse. So I'll do things or take on roles, and that makes me labeled as aggressive. And anytime a Black woman is labeled aggressive, it's not such a good thing. If she's aggressive, she's not ambitious, she's aggressive, she's mad, she's angry, and it's not seen as the same as if it was a man who was aggressively trying to get that same position. It's okay for him to be aggressive, and it's shown as that he's ambitious and driven. And so it's such a double standard in that, like, so I'm called all kinds of things outside of what my mother and father named me. Okay, I'm called the B word, I'm called every other word but Melissa. Okay, just because I have the, first of all, ability and desire to go after something I want. Okay, so I want to also point that out too. But going back to what I was saying, all of those different things that women have to face or endure, and I say have to, but honestly, I guess I think differently. I'm going to use the words have to right now, because most women feel like they have to endure just to get ahead or be promoted or get where they want to get within their career. And what I want to say is that what I see and what I've always seen, the difference between some women, that one thing is integrity. You can have integrity and you have standards, period. So we talk about relationships all the time. You have standards in relationships. You should have standards when it comes to your any area of your life, and that is included in your career choice. You should have integrity, standards, and just morals. Morals. So when you have integrity, when you have morals, and when you have standards, and you should also have respect for yourself. When you have those things, those four things, then it's just certain lines you will not allow to be crossed by you, or you won't allow any man or anybody else to cross those lines with you. You won't do things that will go against your principles, your morals, your values. You won't allow things or people to disrespect you. And it definitely won't be for a couple tens of thousands of dollars. Okay. So that's my take, Kristy. Those are the things that I've seen And that to me is the answer for most of the things, is that you have to come in this already with who you are intact. And if you don't, you're going to learn what's in you. What I found is that, people always chasing money. Money don't make you. Money only highlight what's in you when you have it. So if you dirty, if you don't have no morals, if you know, just ratchet.
If you're dirty.
Yeah, if you're ratchet, like
dirty as in
dirty as
no
in
morals.
no morals, no principles. You live the what? So what's the better word?
You just threw me off. You threw me off because I was thinking like, okay.
I don't mean mud. I mean you just a nasty, just don't have no morals, and you cruel and just malicious in your heart. So to me, that's dirty.
Okay.
And like it's no point in that. Like to me, it's no point in that. So I'm going to stop there, and you can share your thoughts.
I think, what I was thinking about as we're talking about this is just, there are some similarities as a Black woman in corporate America that a Black man may have, such as, I've heard Black men say they have to seem non-threatening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you was talking about the aggressive word, it's like, you got to take the fire out your eyes.
Yeah.
Right. When
the
you
bass
do,
out your voice.
When you do bring an issue, your voice has to be lighter. Your posture has to be non-threatening. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's like you have to switch up and make other people comfortable, because you're automatically, in some cases, viewed as being aggressive
and threatened,
or
a threat.
And it's the same for women as it is for men. So I think that's similar.
Mm-hmm.
And you're so used to it that before, like, after 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you don't even realize, right? You have to do a switch, right? And the switch is automatic. And Black people who work in corporate America know, right?
Yeah.
Unless you were conditioned already, like grew up with the switch ingrained in you. So there's no switch necessary. But others, there is a way to communicate in corporate America that you don't normally communicate outside of corporate America. And you have to make that switch. You have to make the other person more comfortable with you. And that in itself is the problem, right?
Yes.
And you're doing all of this,
every day.
Melissa said, because you're trying to get that paycheck, right? So you have to follow the corporate rules. And that's an unspoken corporate rule. Right. But we all know those of us that are Black, whether you be a man or a woman that are in corporate America, those are unspoken rules that you learn.
Is that a code? Code is different, right?
Yeah, I think that's different.
That's another thing.
But that's mainly what comes to mind. And then, you get tired.
Yes.
You get tired. You get tired of not only corporate America, but the world not just accepting you for you. Like real talk, we have no idea why God created a Black woman and a Black man with a deeper voice. We have no idea. But as far as American accents, right? Whether it be Southern, whether it be Western, whether it be Midwest, whether it be Northern, you can normally tell a Black person, regardless of whether you see them or not, if they're from a certain area, than other cultures, right? Because of our accent or our inflection and our pronunciation of certain words. So just doing the switch, and it probably starts at school with your teachers, like, okay, you can't seem threatening, you can't seem like a threatening student, right? You have to do everything right, and so that kind of flows over, because you don't want to be labeled a troubled child,
right?
And you definitely want to be labeled the troubled Black child, right? Depending on what your ratio looks like in your school room, whether it's majority minority or majority not, right? And so that carries you over to corporate America. And before you know it, you've been doing it for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and you just get tired. Why can't we just be accepted for who we are, and why is our way wrong, right? Why is our way wrong? So those are some initial thoughts. I don't really necessarily have no solutions. Okay. I think Melissa said the one solution that would come to mind is you have to know yourself.
Yes.
And you have to know your values and your morals,
Yes.
and you have to know when something is crossing the line.
That is my solution.
And at the end of the day, if an environment is not conducive to your health
right.
and your peace of mind, then there are lots of people who make a way for them to get out of environments that cause them stress and pain and turmoil.
Yeah.
And if that is corporate America, then you will make a plan for you to exit corporate America, right? We hear those stories all the time, and that's anybody. That's no matter what your race is. Corporate America is corporate America. It breaks a lot of people down, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be based on your race or your gender. It's just the whole environment of it all, and just being in it for too long, you're a certain way. It's like living in a big city, right? I don't, people can relate. We've lived in major big cities, we've lived in small towns. You don't realize if you relocate from a gigantic city with millions and millions of people to a town that has maybe only 200,000 people, you're living the city life, and you're hustling, and you're going. And when I say hustling, like, your pace of life is fast.
Yep.
And you do everything fast. You make decisions fast. Yep. You travel fast, you eat fast, you sleep fast, right? Right. Because you're in this big city like bubble, and then you realize, wait, there is no traffic here, and
right.
I didn't have to leave this early, and
people wait.
I can sit down and have a whole entire meal. Like, I don't have to eat this in 20 or 17 minutes because I got a 30-minute lunch break. Like, right. It's the same thing. It's like when you come out of it, or when I guess the closest would be taking a vacation, right?
Yeah.
And you realize how conditioned you become, right? Mm-hmm. So in all areas, we encourage ourselves. We give ourselves pep talks, and we encourage others. Like, whenever you're in an environment that is not conducive to your health, make a plan to exit that environment. Yes. Stay on earth. Stay alive. Let me be clear. Stay on earth, stay alive. Yeah. But exit those unhealthy environments that are causing you stress, because we only get one life and one body, and we have to take care of it. And part of taking care of that is making decisions that's best for you, best for your loved ones. And if that's exiting corporate America, then so be it. Make that plan and bounce. Right? Bounce.
Yeah. So that's what I think. Those are real solutions. Like, you gotta have your principles and morals. Like, you have to have your own inner checklist.
And you don't owe anybody explanation. I feel like
that's another thing.
That's another conditioning. Like, you feel like we always owe somebody
ourselves. Yeah.
an explanation.
No, you don't. Not at all. And let me just say also that those corporations, like, you get sick or you basically unfortunately pass away,
you just a number.
You are going to be replaced. The world, like, the earth keeps spinning and rotating around its axis. Like, the world is not going to stop. So at the end of the day, and at the beginning of each day, like,
you have to take care of you.
You have to take care of you, and you have to do what's best for you.
It's not like it used to be with our grandparents and our great grandparents.
Even with them, like, it shouldn't have been that way. Like, it's just.
As far as, like, someone actually cares that, Johnny didn't come to work today.
Yeah, it's long gone, the family-oriented corporations, basically.
Right.
It's no longer that. It's about the
dollar.
It is about their dollar. And so I
take care of you.
I mean, to a certain extent, I'm sure that there are companies that, again, care for you to a certain extent, but business is a business.
It is a business.
And, I don't fault them for running their business. At the same time, you have a life. And your life should not, your
life matters.
And it shouldn't be revolved around that job. Okay. You should live to live. Okay. Yes, you have to make money, but that job it should not consume your life. That was another thing about corporate America. It's like, you never turn off. If you are, especially, the higher you go, the more responsibility you go. Yes, you get paid for it, but I
The
feel like
longer hours you work.
it's stressful. So you bring home the stress. So I want to also, along with the solutions of integrity, honor, respect yourself, and all of that, you also need to have your daily self-care tips. Like, you have to take care of yourself and care for your whole self. That means mental, physical, emotional. Okay, emotional as well. Like, you have to remain true and authentic to who you are. Period. So put in your self-care, to yourself, for yourself. All right. That's it, guys. Anything else you want to say?
Nope.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. We thank you for your support. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Two Sisters podcast, where we hope to encourage you on your journey of transformation and healing while having fun along the way. Follow us on IG and Twitter. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. It's available on all major podcast providers. Just search for Two Sisters Podcast. Till next time.